4's Company, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Happy Saturday, Nashville. We are brought to you by LPL Financial Nashville and Patrick Conger. Financial planning for tomorrow so that you can enjoy today. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, Jake Wallman, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Should be a fun show today. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. We will talk plenty of Titans, talk some NSC. Andrew Allegretta, the voice of Vanderbilt baseball, will join us at 10:15. And it's Derby Day. So we'll make our annual Kentucky Derby picks. I was right last year. I don't even remember the name.
You stole Mystic Dan.
Mystic Dan, yes,
pick,
I
buddy.
stole Mystic Dan. I was going to say Silent Bob. That was my guess, but
Avanti White.
Mystic Dan,
Jay
yes.
Silent Bob.
So
there's a horse named Brea from 3,
really?
as in Kobe
Yeah.
Brea.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he just raced Keeneland. I don't think he's actually in the race today.
I will have to look. I honestly have no idea who I'm going to pick, but we will make Derby picks at the end of the show. Gentlemen, how are we? Having a good week so far?
Very good.
Exhausted.
I see a new version of life after my weird ensemble I was telling you about with the water fasting.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if I told you this. Connor.
No, you didn't tell me.
Did a water fast starting Tuesday at 4 p.m.
Actually, yes, you did tell me this. You were about to start it last week.
I was about to start it, yeah. And so I ended Thursday at 11:30.
What is a water fast?
Just have water. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
You didn't eat?
Nope. Nothing.
That's scary.
It's tough. Like I can't imagine. I probably should do it. Like I'm sure it is healthy, but
yeah, it's no religious purpose.
It's
was
daunting.
It helped reset my body, which was kind of cool. But it gets rid of all some bad toxins and all that. That's all I'm going to mention about it. But as for sports are great. I even brought some show and tell to bring.
Oh,
today.
you have show and tell for your headline today.
I do. I have show and tell. These are the wonderful PDC World Championship darts from Luke Littler's set. This is the barrel, the actual metal tips on them, and then the flights. The flights are the plastic ones. The way I throw aggressively onto the corked board, I don't like to use the regular flights, so I use the plastic ones. It's like training wheels, sort of. So it's more for the longevity of the dart itself. But yeah.
Whoa. Frazier, never mind. I also have show and tell. Watch my screen. It turns green.
Yes, it does.
I think if I hit it hard enough, it'll stop.
That's always the right way to fix something, I think.
50-50 chance.
Let's try it.
I've got to say that no one...
It did. It actually did.
Oh, did it a little bit. Hold on.
No.
This is great radio.
Right.
No other show in Nashville will give you as much information about darts and rugby than this one. You always get what's going on in rugby.
It's Magic Round, by the way. Magic Round, it's magical. The Warriors won in great fashion this morning.
I thought they lost to the Rockets last night.
Well, that basketball, different story. But no, it's Magic Round. So basically, when I went to Vegas for week 1, it's essentially that, but for the Australian audience. So it's a cool experience. They have a lot of different broadcasts you can watch. It's a very immersive feeling and just is inviting for new fans. So
I love it.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid for any of this, but it's a fun thing to watch.
We start the show every week with darts and rugby, and we wouldn't want to start the show any other way.
Chef's kiss.
Connor Newt, do you have a headline for us this morning?
I'm a little distracted at the moment.
You know what? You want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go first. Connor is slapping his laptop over and over. I don't like to always go Tigers because I know that people around here don't really care about the Detroit Tigers, but got to shout out Javi Baez. Like, I know there's some Cubs fans in the area who remember how, I won't even say how good he was, but like such an electric player for that Cubs team when they went on the World Series run in 2016. And Javi Baez, after being probably one of the worst offensive players in baseball for 4 years, is hitting above 300 and has 3 home runs in his last 3 games. Shout out Javi Baez. Almago's back.
When does his contract end with the
We
Tigers?
got like 3 more years.
Okay.
And
I'm just thinking in my head, is it a contract year? Because then that's
no,
why. Wow.
I think Javi Baez
did it.
He oh my God, he fixed it. I think Javi Baez, he like goes off the momentum of his team. Right. So when he was with the Cubs and they were really good, he was really good. When the Tigers were horrible for the first 4 years of his deal, and he was out for that whole run last season for the Tigers. Now the Tigers are playing well. Javi Baez is back. Also, Riley Green last night, the first player in MLB history to hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning.
Really?
Yep.
They went through the whole entire.
Yep. So he led off the inning. It was 1-1 heading to the top of the 9th. He led off with a home run and then came up and hit a 3-run bomb at the end of the inning. So shout out Riley Green.
Absolute confetti for the Tigers.
Yes. Won 9-1 after
Oh.
being 1-1 through 8 innings.
Never mind. We're back to square one.
Slapping it didn't fix
No,
it.
it didn't fix it.
Maybe you should punch the screen, see what happens there. You
Jake Wallman, good morning. What is your headline?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm really enjoying Connor, watching him. Fix
I'm not. This sucks.
This is better than going to Best Buy and just letting them do it.
No, they
I
don't
wonder
do
if this is
anything.
what the nerds at Best Buy is that. Or
Pronounced
the Geek Squad. Yes.
Do
Geek
people
Squad.
use the Geek Squad anymore?
I don't know.
Is that a
Fraser
thing?
does.
Fraser, I thought you were in the Geek Squad.
Well, I am. Thanks, because I'm wearing glasses. Appreciate it.
That's
I
a
have
cheap
full-
shot.
It's all right. It's all right. I like it because it says I'm intelligent in some regard. I appreciate that. No, I use Geek Squad. They help put the radio system in my car.
Oh.
Yeah, they do that stuff.
Oh.
Really?
We were talking Genius Bar earlier today.
Do they stop random green screens from happening on a terrible laptop?
Yeah, you might have to bring that
Yeah.
to the Geek Squad.
Not today. I'm here from now to 5 p.m.
All right.
Come visit me.
Well, what is your sports headline here, Connor? I'm just curious. You have
Well, let
one?
Wallman go. He just
Yeah, Jake Wallman.
Oh, my bad. I thought he said one. Sorry.
No. My headline, Andy Staples came out with an article a few days ago, and On3 actually reposted it on X. The SEC, there's rumors that they may be going to a 9-game conference schedule, joining the Big Ten in that regard. And whether it stays 8 or 9 depends on whether they add or take away an automatic bid from the college football playoff.
can they take all 4 of them away, please?
I don't mind the automatic bids. There shouldn't be automatic buys. I think
Yes.
that's the big change that needs to be made.
Yeah.
Well, I think the automatic bids or wait,
Like, I think the conference champions, the top 5 conference champions should get in.
right.
You should be in the field of 12, but that doesn't mean Arizona State should get a bye over Penn State.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make that change. I feel like that's going to happen.
They have to. If
I
all
think the
4
conference
teams
champions
lose.
do deserve the automatic buys.
Really?
Yes. I
You
think I think that's something that an automatic buy has to be earned. And I think by winning your conference championship, I think that is something that signifies, okay, you went through the rigorous conference schedule, you won your conference championship. I think you may deserve that as an automatic buy.
It just ended up making the bracket so lopsided because Boise State and Arizona State got buys. And so you had Oregon, Ohio State, Texas all on one side of the bracket, whereas you had Notre Dame, Penn State, Boise State on the other side. Like it,
I think you got to make it make sense is the only thing.
I get it also hurt that Georgia's quarterback wasn't playing. I guess that might have changed something too. Maybe they'll let it kind
Newly
of-
single.
Yes,
I'm just
newly single Carson Beck.
I think I remember bringing up this idea with the BCS, like use the BCS rankings for this. Like after the first round, you reseed and stuff like that. Because like I have it pulled up right here. The first round matchup would have been Tennessee, Arizona State, Penn State, Alabama, SMU, Ohio State.
yeah,
Boise
that's a
State, that-
much better bracket
Yeah,
than
it's more even.
right.
Whereas you have all these first round buys. You have Notre Dame,
Right. You give
Texas.
Notre Dame and Georgia the first round buys instead of, or actually, yeah, and Texas get first round buys instead of Boise State, Arizona State, and who else had a bye? Oh, they've got Alabama in there over Clemson.
Yeah. That Clemson was also yeah.
Right.
So that was just BCS. Sorry, I forgot.
But-
yeah.
But yes, I think that's the right way to do it is you got to seed them 1 through 12. Yes, the 5 conference champions can get in, but seed them 1 through 12. Connor Newt, do you have a sports headline for us
I have
or a life headline?
Well, life. I have reached the stage where apparently I need an update now. So I'm updating this computer. It is still flashing green at me as it's updating.
This is a great segment of radio. We're just talking sports, and Connor, we're slowly getting updates on Connor's laptop.
I'm gonna
not
start
happy.
calling these.
Oh, we've gone dark.
I'm gonna start calling these Dubin moments because Joe Dubin had this problem with his old computer. Now he bought a new computer, which is fine, but
yeah. Well, if he has any advice, I'd take it.
Yeah,
we've talked ad nauseum about it this week, but the Bill Belichick interview is just, oh my God,
Strange.
living in my head right now. I mean, I watched the whole thing just to see. First off, for starters, he's in a torn up Navy sweatshirt with no undershirt. He looks like he's just got beaten up by a bunch of bullies in the alley.
Yeah, but he's always dressed like that.
He has never dressed like that before.
He just rolled out of bed.
Yeah. And then his girlfriend, I guess we can call her that, just commanding the interview. We're not talking about that. We're not going to talk about that. Why is she there?
Yeah.
Like,
and why is she like on all these emails and stuff with UNC? I think it was Kirk Minahan with Barstool called up Michael Lombardi, who's the GM for North Carolina football, and was just like, what is her role with the team? Is she the lead recruiter on all of your visits? And Michael Lombardi basically was just like, we're having a discussion about this right now. And like, that's all he was going to say. So it wouldn't shock me if UNC just cuts ties and was just like, all right, well, this is a horrible idea.
that would be pretty funny because his buyout goes down significantly by the
Right.
start of July.
Right.
And his son is the succession plan.
Well, if you just get out now,
Yeah.
I think
Like buy his whole contract.
right. Just say like, you
avoids
know
all
what, this
that.
was a mistake. It's gone horribly wrong. Let's just mail in 2025 and hope we can restart in 2026. Because it seems like this was a horrible idea.
I don't know. I saw that they got a 4-star linebacker from UCLA recently. Like, listen, if you're bringing in 4 or 5-star recruits, transfers, like in the transfer portal, you can't go jumping ship.
Well,
just yet.
you make a good point. If they have a good season and win, I think a lot of these questions are going to get a little quieter. But it has been an interesting week for Bill Belichick. And I told you my question of the day for everybody is a little controversial. Not sure everybody's going to want to answer it. How did you meet your significant other? I know it's out there, and I don't know if people are going to want to answer it.
I got no answer to this, pal.
I know I was joking. I was making a joke about Bill Belichick.
It's a Bill joke.
It was a Bill Belichick joke.
Oh, well, I'm a little
Are you
PO'd.
okay?
No.
Connor's having a rough time over there with his laptop.
Yeah, it's
The
not
real
good.
question of the day. It is Kentucky Derby Day. So I want to know what's an event, and I don't want people going with the easy ones like Super Bowl or Final Four or national championship game for football. What is a sporting event that's like a bucket list for you that you want to get to? Because I think the Kentucky Derby is one of those cool ones where it's like, yeah, we don't really care about horse racing except for this one day a year because that event is so cool.
I like the Triple Crown.
Well,
That's
but
about it.
the Derby's the biggest one out
Yeah.
of those. So I want to know 615-737-1025. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What is a sporting event? And if you absolutely want to say Super Bowl or whatever, that's fine. But I'm looking for some off the beaten path answers here. And we'll give our answers coming up at 10 o'clock. Again, coming up later in the show at 10:15, Andrew Allegretta, voice of Vanderbilt baseball, is going to join us ahead of Game 2 against Alabama today. That is a 2 p.m. first pitch over at Hawkins Field, 1:45 pregame right here on 102.5 The Game as the Vandy boys look for a series win over the Crimson Tide. So we'll talk to Andrew coming up at 10:15. But coming up next, let's get back into the Titans here. Coming off the draft, last week's show was before the day 3 picks. Titans were able to add a trio of pass catchers in the 4th round. We'll look through those. And what are some reasonable expectations for the Titans heading into 2025? Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, Jake Wallman with you this morning. This is 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Baby Ryan.
Join Big Joe and 102.5 The Game from 10 a.m. to noon at Coleman Tractor of Nashville today for Kubota Orange Days. There will be exclusive deals on compact tractors, zero turns, and more with special financing available. Sale runs from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. with demos, deals, giveaways, and lunch from 11 to 1. That's at the Coleman Tractor of Nashville, located at 7221 Whites Creek Pike in Jolton today. 4's Company, Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, Jake Wallman with you on this Saturday. Again, our question of the day. What is a sporting event that you want to go to, a bucket list item for you with the Kentucky Derby being today? Because I think that's up there in terms of kind of like big sporting events that, again, horse racing, not America's pastime, but Derby Day is always a big one. So, again, what is a sporting event that you'd like to get to in your life? Let's get into the Titans here. You guys, I know, went in depth on the first three picks of the Titans draft, but went off the air right before the Titans took Chimere DK out of Florida. Also took Gunnar Helm and Alec Iomanner out of Stanford in round 4. Also took Jackson Slater, the guard out of Sacramento State. Kalel Mullings, the running back out of Michigan.
Yep.
And I'm blanking. Marcus Harris, cornerback, California. That sound right? I think those were the last. Yes. But let's focus in here on those three pass catchers, DK, Helm, Iomanner. Do we think that is going to give Cam Ward enough weapons at his disposal heading into his rookie year, along with guys like Calvin Ridley and the newly signed Tyler Lockett?
I think the Titans have definitely surrounded him with a lot of options. I'll just start with Gunnar Helm because I feel like a tight end's a great tone setter, not only just for a conversation, but for an offense. Because Gunnar Helm, when he was at Texas, and I think I mentioned this on the air one day, he seemed to be a safety net for Quinn Ewers and also Arch Manning whenever he kind of shifted in there at quarterback. Anytime they needed a reliable guy in the flats or over the middle, like a 5-yard hitch or something like that, he was there. I mean, that's the safety net. Even though he's not a veteran, he's a rookie coming into playing in the NFL. That's still okay. You can be a very well-versed tight end and not be a veteran. Like that whole narrative of like, oh, you need a veteran wide receiver to really help a quarterback ease into the NFL process. Oh, you need a really good veteran tight end, like the whole thing about Mark Andrews if he became available. In a roundabout way, that's true, but only to a certain degree. And I think Nashville, especially the Titans in general, have figured that out a little bit to where they can do that on paper, and maybe this is the truth.
Sorry, it's still going, but I realized I have a warranty on this computer.
Let's go.
Hey.
So we're thrilled for you.
Yeah, well, I'm not. But anyways, yeah, I think you're onto something, Frazier. Iomanor, is that how you say it? Iomanor?
I think it's Iomanor.
Let's just have a press conference. He goes up and tells us how to say his name.
Alec, we need to know how to say your last name.
If you want to call in, that'd be great.
Yeah. On line 1, Alec.
That is my favorite pick of the draft for the Titans.
I agree.
I think
outside of Cam Ward,
of course. I think day 1, I think was good. Day 2, I was very disappointed in at first. And then I started watching a little bit of film. Kevin Winston, I think, is going to be good if he can stay healthy. And I'm very concerned about Olade Joe. I said it wrong last week. It's Olade Joe, according to Robbie Stanley. Day 3, I think, made up for day 2. Iomanor. I'm just going to stick with that.
If we're consistent, no one's going to say it.
Yeah. I think he is my favorite pick of the draft. DK, I have a few concerns about. Mainly, can he catch a ball? But I think they can develop him into something. And then Gunnar Helm, I think, was a steal. The rest, I don't really know. The center, I think, will be good.
I like the Slater pick.
Especially if Cushenberry is out for an extended period of time, which it looks like he may be. They act like he's going to be ready. He tore his ACL. Achilles.
Yeah, I believe that was right?
Yes. But he did say in January, like right after the season ended, that he was on track to be ready for training camp. Obviously, it's been 3 months and things could have changed, but we'll see with Lloyd Cushenberry. But even if he's not ready, you signed Kevin Zeitler to a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a perfect guy for Jackson Slater to learn behind. And maybe he becomes your right guard of the future. Maybe he ends up being your center of the future. he's the guy who's pretty versatile, and you got him in the 5th round and give him a chance to sit behind 2 pretty experienced veterans.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier about the veteran thing, and you mentioned that with the offensive line. I feel like the Titans they understand the, I guess, complexity of where they need their veteran leadership at.
Right.
Because the last couple seasons, we all know the offensive line has been very lackluster, to say the best. And you bring in a guy like Kevin Zeitler from, I believe, the Lions.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they need, because at the same time, like you mentioned with Lloyd Cushenberry, in my opinion, watching Rodgers come back from his Achilles, there was that one season, I call it a grace period season, because he was very, shifty in the pocket, would run for about 5 to 6 yards if it was there. First season back, he was not comfortable with that. I think for Cushenberry, even though he says he's on schedule for, going back to practice and stuff, for me, it's going to take him half a season to get adjusted on the offensive line.
I was thinking that he's not going to be the same. It's
Right.
like the same. It's like kind of the conversation we were having with Harold Landry when he was coming back. Now, he may be an outlier because he ended up having a great couple of seasons after he tore his Achilles, or it was ACL.
ACL, yeah.
But I'm with you, Frazier. I don't think Cushenberry is going to be full strength if he is ready by training camp. I think it's going to take him maybe a few weeks, probably more, maybe a few games into the season to get, where they want him to be.
Yeah.
I think this draft overall is solid. And, obviously we won't know until probably 2 or 3 years down the road when these guys actually, we know what they turn out to be. But I think you can see that the Titans are planning for 2 years down the road.
Yeah.
I don't think Cam Ward's going to be Jaden Daniels this year.
No.
But I think he could, in 2-3 years, end up being a franchise quarterback. Same thing with the guys you took in day 2. I don't think Winston's going to be your starting safety right off the jump. I don't think Oladejo is going to be a 10-sack guy right off the jump, but 2-3 years down the road. And getting DK and Iomanner, you kind of hope that at least one of those guys, along with Xavier Restrepo, who you got as an undrafted free agent, as long as one of those guys hits, now you've got a young guy who can grow with Cam Ward. My money would be on Iomanner.
Mm-hmm.
I think you watch him at Stanford. He's big. He's fast. He can make contested catches.
He was projected to go in the 3rd round.
Right. I think there might be
4th?
injury red flags there.
Yeah. But
and DK, I think it is funny. I think Titans fans, when they drafted DK, wanted Iomanner. So it's like if you flip those picks and they took Iomanner at the top of the 4th round and DK at the end of the 4th round, I think no one would have batted an eye.
Yeah.
But what do we think after this draft, where it does seem like the theme was high character guys and maybe some guys who are going to be projects moving forward? 2025, what do we think the reasonable expectations for the Titans are with a lot of young guys and maybe not a ton of veteran talent around them?
I think they finished with a top 10 pick. I think they improved from last year. It's hard not to improve from being the worst team in the league, but I could see them increasing their win total, maybe doubling it.
6-11.
6-11. I don't think they're going to be contenders. I think they'll probably finish last in the South again, but maybe
It'll
be between them and Jacksonville, obviously. But
who knows with the Colts too?
Yeah,
with their quarterback situation.
Although I love their pick.
Yeah, getting Tyler Warren.
That was a steal.
Yeah, I think 6 wins is what I would say, but I think it's a different 6 wins than the 6 wins you got 2 years ago.
I'd feel good. I'm not good, but I'd feel okay with 6 wins.
I think it's going to be a 6 wins where down the stretch you start to see it coming together, and Cam Ward maybe starts to look like the guy in November into December, and you feel good heading into 2026. I don't think it's going to be a season where the Titans find themselves playing meaningful football in week 17 and 18, but I think it's going to be a positive step in the right direction. And then you hope in 2026, your last year in the old stadium, that maybe you're getting to 9 wins and you're in the wild card conversation. And then you can take that next step as you head into 2027 in the new stadium. And as we found out yesterday, likely with new uniforms as well.
I think that's confirmed for sure.
Yes.
Warren Moon went on with what Kay Adams is what it was, and he was like, "Yeah, there are new uniforms,
and
they look good."
I would guess it's going to line up with them going into the new stadium.
Yeah.
Like it would make sense leave the old uniforms with
But it
the
sounds
old
like they're
Nissan
doing
Stadium.
what we've been asking them to do, and that's just Oilers uniforms with the Titans logo on it.
Maybe. I think they're going to, this is just my assumption, but I think they're going to use that, I guess that blue that was used when Chris Johnson was here. You know what I'm talking about? Those like darker but lighter blue colors.
Yes.
Because it's not like the light blue you have now with the Titans. They're alternate blue. It's that darker-ish light blue. I don't know.
Well, no, they've said that Titans blue is now the main color, the light
Titan-
blue.
We've been calling it that since 2003.
That is still one of the funniest things to me.
No one has ever said
It's just
that
light
before.
blue.
Yeah.
But I think it is going to be Oiler-ish, but
Maybe it's an alternate. Maybe that's what he was talking about.
right. Maybe that could be it.
No, he said there was a full set.
Well, he said that they are never going to wear the Oilers uniforms again. That is what Warren Moon said.
Which makes me think that was the compromise for
Was
Cam
like,
Ward.
hey, it's gonna be Oiler-ish uniforms, but they're never going to wear Oilers throwbacks with the actual like oil derrick on the side of the helmet again.
Well, that's I don't want my number out there in an Oilers uniform,
Right.
if it's not me.
It's unfortunate because those helmets are probably
They're
the best in
awesome.
football.
Which, can I just say this?
sure.
Can we stop complaining about the number retirement thing?
Yeah, I think it's
Mainly the
being
guy from 2 to
overblown.
6. But, I mean, it's not a big deal. Who cares?
It's
I don't
being
know.
overblown.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like Warren Moon, I agree. If I was Cam Ward, I probably wouldn't have even asked. But Cam Ward asked, Warren Moon thought about it, and he said yes. If Warren Moon's okay with it, I think you can be okay with it.
How is it disrespectful to ask?
It's,
I mean,
it's not. For me, the thing that bothers me is that like someone asked him what's the significance behind wearing one, and he said there wasn't any, and that's what rubs me the wrong way a little bit. I'm just thinking if there's not a significance.
Well, yeah, like he wore 7 at Incarnate Word.
Yeah, like if there's not a significance behind the number 1, like just
I
wear a
wouldn't
different
want to wear
number.
7 in Titans blue.
Yeah. I don't want to wear
mean,
7 after.
You don't have to wear 7. You could wear like I don't know.
You know who else was 7
11?
in college?
Who's that?
Your last quarterback.
Well,
I was thinking Malik because he wore
Him
7
too.
here.
Yeah.
yeah, you could wear 2.
Just
I mean,
don't
I
wear
know
8.
Tajay wears. Yeah,
Don't wear 8.
No more Titans quarterbacks can wear 8.
It's retired.
It's retired, but for all the wrong reasons.
I don't know. I just feel like I understand the whole gist of number 1 and the so forth about him wearing it at Miami, and my whole thought process was like the Titans front office and also like whoever else is involved with the numbers and so forth. You're thinking, man, this guy wore number 1. We're catching good gravity with. Yeah, that was my keys. Sorry.
Your keys and wallet are now on the floor.
We've got a lot of things going on.
I don't
today.
know what's happening, but like if I'm the Titans, thinking, yeah, catch some good gravity and good momentum with Cam Ward wearing number 1 into the NFL, everybody would buy that number 1 jersey. It'd sell like hotcakes, probably for a short shelf time, but like it's solely based on his performance, obviously. And if he can really perform off the get go, like I think that would work. But I don't know. I feel like he respects him, but to me, it rubs me the wrong way.
Which
a
puts
little
me
bit.
on another rant with Chase's old man yells at Cloud. I hate when people wear 1 and 0. I'm like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Get with the times,
Hey.
Grandpa.
00. Let's wear it. Let's see it.
No one in football wears 00.
I think it'd be pretty funny.
It would be funny to see a 00 running around out there.
I think it would be funnier if we put a quarterback in like 67 or
That would
something
be
like
great. That would be great. Matthew in Nashville makes a good point. Abdul Carter has made this worse
Oh, yeah.
by asking Lawrence Taylor for his number. Like, all respect to Warren Moon. Warren Moon, maybe the greatest player in Oilers Titans franchise history.
Mm-hmm.
There's an argument to be made there. I mean, Earl Campbell, Derrick Henry, I think would be up there as well. But Lawrence Taylor is probably the greatest defensive player of all time.
Yeah. Top 3 at least.
Maybe the most talented football player of all time. Not saying greatest, because obviously Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about just in terms of the way he played the game, Lawrence Taylor might have made the most impact on the field. And Abdul Carter's like, hey, can I just steal 56 off you?
No.
Well, and now I guess he's asked Phil Simms for 11.
Just
It's like, Abdul, just find another number.
Just wear 1.
Be the rookie that you are and take the number they
The
give
Giants drafted Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker
They did.
in
yes.
the first round. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I think Cam Ward, I'm fine with him wearing one. The issue is both extremes present a problem for the Titans.
I can't look at this anymore.
If he's horrible, then you just unretired number one for a bust.
That's weird. Yes.
But if he's great, then you have to re-retire number one for two different people. So it's like it is kind of a predicament for the Titans where it's like both extremes of the spectrum put the Titans in a little bit of a pickle. Because you've now set the precedent that you can unretire numbers for players who haven't taken a snap. But if he does bring a Super Bowl to Nashville, you're probably going to retire one again and have two of them hanging in the rafters.
Here's the thing.
Stadium.
I don't consider one a Titans number. It's an Oilers number. So, I mean, we've had one in Oilers blue. Now we have one in Titans blue.
I mean, they'll figure it out either way.
Yeah.
But I think the worst scenario is if Cam Ward flames out of I don't think it's going to happen, but if Cam Ward flames out of the league in 3 years and you just unretired a number for this guy,
we're going to be memed for years.
Yes, that will probably not go over well. It will be viewed as the AFC finalist banner that the Colts have.
Still hangs.
Yes, there's one hanging in one of the Barstool HQs too, I think. AFC finalist 2014. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to chime in. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. When we come back, we're going to get into some NSC with our Nashville SC expert. To my right, Nick Frazier. First, the 615 Open Charity Golf Tournament benefiting Folds of Honor presented by Gary Force Acura at Hermitage Golf Course is on Thursday, May 29th. You can sign up to play or sponsor at 615open.com. NSC Talk coming up next. You're on 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 4's Company, 1025, 1063, The Game. With you on this Saturday up to 11 a.m. Andrew Allegretto from Vanderbilt Baseball going to join us at 10:15 as they prepare for Game 2 against Alabama. You can tune into 1025 The Game for Vanderbilt Baseball against the Crimson Tide. Pregame at 1:45, first pitch at 2, right here on 1025 The Game. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Jake Wallman, and Nick Frazier is here. He is our Nashville SC insider. What's going on with the boys in gold right now?
A lot, honestly. It's that they've coined it as Nashville SC 2.0 this season. Mike Jacobs this past week got, I guess, a promotion or a new title. You'll get a kick out of this, Connor. President of Soccer Operations. How about that?
Where's that come from?
I don't know. And this past Thursday, and I'm not trying to make a weird spin on all this, but the word was used, and it was collaboration. And so, yeah, there's a lot of
It's contagious.
yeah, there's a lot of familiar vocabulary that I've been hearing.
He's the
red flags, baby.
Supreme leader of football.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Nashville SC, I think they've done it right. I think that's the thing that people are not clicking yet, is even though it's the same jargon, the same terminology of the way they phrase things, they've done it right besides the Titans. The Nashville SC home run hire with BJ Callahan going into this year. You have an offseason to actually get stuff going. Last game, Sam Surge scored 4 goals. He's the 19th player in MLS history to do so. He was almost the second player ever in MLS history to score 5 goals in a game. So close, yet so far. Nashville SC, they're, I think, top 5, top 6, top 7 around that. They have 16 points on the year, just falling 2 points right now behind Inter Miami in the MLS standings. So this team is hitting a stride that a lot of Nashville SC fans might be surprised in regards from last season, because last season this team was lost, didn't have a true direction, and now you can actually see the development of depth on this roster. You can see the development of creativity. I think this BJ Callahan system where he plays 4 at the back, 2 midfielders, 2 attacking winger midfielders, and 2 strikers, they kind of offset between Sam Surridge and Hani Mukhtar. He kind of falls into that 10 role. They just create a lot of open spaces, and BJ even says this too. He creates a lot, not Hani, but just players in general. They create a lot of open spaces between the lines, and I think the big thing for me is this team loves to go after the ball when they lose possession. Kind of what it is with hockey with Andrew Burnett's system. When you lose the puck, they want to press. Same thing here for Nashville SC. I mean, that's where it all kindles from, is soccer. It's called Ginga pressing. It's like the German style of soccer. But BJ Callahan has Sam Surridge, his breadwinner at scoring goals, going after the ball defensively after they lose possession, which I think is incredible because you don't see any other striker in the MLS that does that, period. And so going forward into today's match against Atlanta, Atlanta's been shut out the last 3 matches, have not scored a goal. This is a game where Nashville SC kind of need to set the tone going forward. They obviously set some form of a tone against Chicago last week, scoring 7 goals. But this offense right now is clicking on all cylinders. I do think with the, I guess, absence of Walker Zimmerman right now because he had a head injury in Charlotte a few weeks back, I think this is a good opportunity for Jason Palacios to really make a true name for himself in the back. And I think if Nashville gets a clean sheet, to me, it shows that there's a new center back pairing in Walker Zimmerman and Jason Palacios. Jason Palacios was a center back that was acquired for Nashville this past offseason. And and they currently have Jack Mayer back there, the milkman, as they call him.
The milkman.
Yeah, that's his nickname, the milkman. And he's been that, I guess, your center back A, your center back B. And to me, Jack Mayer has had the opportunity to be the center back 1, meaning the true leader on the field. And for me, I just haven't seen it. So I think with Jason Palacios being in there, it's, even though there's a little bit of a language barrier, okay, but at the same time, this guy is starting to learn the English lingo, or if it's vice versa with the English-speaking player that is starting to learn Spanish lingo. I think this chemistry is starting to really, it's organic. It's an organic feeling on the field, and I think these players are starting to realize that, and things are just click. Like I said before, they're clicking on all cylinders.
Again, at Atlanta today, 1:45 kick there. And then it seems like Nashville's at home for like the next 3 weeks after that.
Yeah.
Games on, is that a Monday game? Tuesday game?
Tuesday the
Against
6th.
Chattanooga
Yep.
Red Wolves SC.
So that's an
Is that
interesting.
the US Open Cup?
Yes, it is the longest, I guess, tenured cup in North America, I believe,
Interesting.
or the United States, that is. And for Nashville, that's vital that they produce well in that tournament, because it's the only tournament they're in, obviously. But also, too, if you look back to last season, they were in the CONCACAF Champions Cup,
Right.
Leagues Cup, MLS playoffs. Like, they had a lot of tournaments to really ingest into their system when it came to schedule purposes. But this year, all you got to worry about is the MLS schedule and the US Open Cup. And with the depth that Nashville's showing, not only with their marquee players that play in MLS, but also their young players like a Matthew Corcoran, a Wyatt Meyer, that we got a little bit of a cameo in the first match of the season, because obviously the midfield depth, they were injured, had some few injuries here and there. But they have started to gather some minutes at the international spectrum. As for Matthew Corcoran, he got called up for like the U20s or U18s for the U.S. men's national team. So he's getting minutes there. And I just think if they produce, meaning in the U.S. Open Cup, they'll be able to make a true name for themselves. I think, like I've mentioned to start this conversation, with Nashville SC 2.0, I think they'll be able to make a true name for themselves in MLS, period. I think there'll be teams who are thinking, all right, we got to put a little bit more respect on not only BJ Callahan, but this team in general, because they got a little bit younger, but yet they still have your veteran core pieces, kind of like the Titans a little bit. You still have your veteran core pieces where you're able to, go for goal and score more goals and all the above.
A lot of parallels between Nashville SC and the Preds and the Titans.
Yeah.
It's all working together.
I mean, it's Nashville, baby. It's small town, big, I guess, small town, big buildings. Yeah.
We love the NSC update here with Nick Frazier. Where can people find more of you talking soccer?
Yeah, you can go to the Game Nashville Sports Network, Talking Calcio, myself, and you'll probably hear Claudio Villalobos. He's with Nashville Total Sport. He kind of co-anchors that a little bit. He'll hop on from time to time and, play some cool audio from Nashville SC press conferences, get some good content there. So if you're wanting to look for it, Talking Calcio on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Love it. Make sure you go check it out. That's our quick update on Nashville SC. As again, they are in Atlanta today for a 1:45 match at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But then 4 straight games at home coming up over the next couple of weeks. So
nationally broadcast game today, by the way, on Fox.
Right.
So
love it.
Apple TV.
Yeah.
Turn the channel.
Make sure you check it out. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Coming up next, it's time for Newt's Notes here on 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3. The Game, 9:45 on a Saturday. Means it's time for Newt's Notes. Connor Newt, take it away.
All right. This is going to be one of the more out there ones. I'll preface it by that. But there is a debate going on Twitter right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Who would win in a fight? 100 men or a gorilla? I have in my hands the top 10 men we will use to defeat the gorilla.
Oh, wow.
I told you this one's going to be out there. All right. I'll just go ahead. Number 10, we're going to use Mel Kiper, but we're going to tell him Shador has not been drafted yet.
It's a good one.
He is going to go absolute ape on the gorilla. It's
a good one. No, I like that.
we just got to piss him off enough to go.
Right. It's less about the dog in the fight, more about the fight in the dog.
Yes.
Mel Kiper's going to have a lot of fight if Shador is still hanging out there on the board in round 5.
Yeah. We're going to piss him off enough to just feel like he can take on the world. Number 9, our friend, Big Joe Dubin. Just tell the gorilla a joke and he'll be distracted for the other 9 guys to go get him.
Yeah, Big Joe, we need thoughts on whether you're ready to fight this gorilla.
Big Joe, I would be curious to hear Big Joe's thoughts on this whole debate.
I'm sure he doesn't even know that this is a thing going on right now.
As locked into social media as that guy is, he's pretty
I think he's
well-versed.
probably got different algorithms than we do.
Yeah, he doesn't have the under 25 algorithm that we have. Number 8, this is where we start getting to the physical specimen. We're going to use Barry Bonds, but we're going to give him performance enhancing drugs. And a metal bat.
And a metal bat, yeah. Well, I feel like a metal bat is probably too far because I think part of the argument is you can't use any weapons. So we'll say no bat, but still Barry Bonds.
We'll give him roids.
Barry Bonds on roids, not somebody I'd want to mess with.
Roid rage, baby. All right, number 7, we're gonna get Randy Orton, but he's gonna be bald.
Okay.
Randy Orton in like 2009 when he was bald was an absolute menace.
He went on a tear.
He went on a tear. At one point he put John Cena on top of a pyro machine and just lit it. And tried to kill him. It was funny.
It was something.
Watch out, gorilla.
Yeah, this gorilla is not gonna. He doesn't have a chance. Number 6, my guy Oscar Tshiebwe. If that gorilla falls off of a cliff, Oscar Tshiebwe is catching it and then bringing him down with a suplex. It's not. This gorilla stands no chance. I'm telling you.
And guess what? You're only listing 10. We got 90 other people. You could just throw a bunch of average Joes in there with this group.
The human sacrifices.
Right.
Yeah. And number 5, Frazier. I had to do my research on this one, but John Jones.
Oh, John Bones Jones.
We're bringing John Jones in.
That's a good one.
Baddest UFC fighter on planet Earth.
Yeah. Dana's boy. That's his favorite. John Jones, I think, could probably do it by himself.
It depends on. Are we
That'd
talking
be a
about
good fight?
heavyweight John Jones? Or are we talking about like a lighter weight John Jones?
Which one's better?
Heavyweight John Jones is pretty invincible.
I would say heavyweight.
You have.
If you're fighting the gorilla, you probably need.
Give him a cheeseburger and send him out there.
Okay.
John Jones. Number 4 is Super Cena. Super Cena. Cena just no sells. Like the gorilla could just take him out, punch him against a tree, and Cena would just get right back up and hit him with the attitude adjustment. We'd be fine.
It will be tough for the gorilla considering he can't see him either.
Yeah. No one can.
Yeah.
They may not even know he's on the team. They would probably think it's 9 guys.
Right.
Now, I do have a question because some people are like, this is Royal Rumble style. Like you go 1v1 at a time.
No,
but I think it's 100 versus 1.
Well, did you see the AI simulation? They expanded it. It was 10,000 gorillas against 1 million humans,
and the gorillas
the gorillas. I think only like 6 of them died.
So we got 3 more. Number 3 is Derrick Henry, but we're gonna tell him we're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There we go. Yeah, no, that's a great one.
So he's just gonna stiff arm.
That gorilla's gonna look like Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, it's not gonna be great. We're gonna put him we're gonna line the field. They're gonna fight at a football field. We're gonna put him at the 1, and Derrick Henry's just gonna take off and take that gorilla to the casa, as they say. Number 2, we have somehow discovered the ability to time travel. We're bringing in Mike Tyson, circa 1991.
Okay. Yeah. Prime Mike Tyson.
We're bringing him in
after prison. Yeah. Prison Mike.
Prison Mike.
That's a different kind of
The
Michael. though.
Dementors.
I'm just saying.
The Prison
What was the
Mike.
worst part of prison?
The Dementors.
The Dementors.
Mike Tyson. And then number 1, we're bringing in the Beast with his advocate, Paul Heyman, of course. We're bringing in Brock Lesnar. UFC Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
We'll say.
So, not a F5 Brock Lesnar?
Oh, he can be a combination of both. That dude can do whatever he wants. I don't care.
it's a good list.
This gorilla is not coming out alive, gentlemen.
I was disappointed not to hear the Rizzler on that list.
I
Or
think,
Big AJ.
Yeah, Big AJ.
I think I've reached Big AJ and Rizzler fatigue.
So, I have one person I think should be an honorable mention on this list.
This is 10. So we have 90 others.
I'm
we
saying
can
That's
throw
true. We
in
have
there.
90 others that we can work on.
I think
here.
for 11 to start all this 100 men versus gorilla, play it, Jake Wallman.
Joe Hendry.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not
not
fighting
not
gorilla.
you. I'm just saying Joe Hendry.
I'm
No,
not
Connor
fighting the
Newton.
gorilla.
Connor Newton,
Newton.
you're number 11.
No, I'm the coach.
Joe Hendry's everywhere. Like after
Yeah.
WrestleMania, he's everywhere.
Well, he fought Randy Orton.
I did watch most of the second day of WrestleMania.
He does his little
It's pretty
camera
good.
pan.
It was solid. I didn't watch the main event. I didn't.
Yeah, you
I
didn't-
had to turn it
know,
off.
You
But
probably don't want to waste your time with that one.
I thought it was more entertaining than I expected to be. So
Joe
and
Hendry.
and hearing Joe Henry's song, I was like, oh my god, I know that one.
Hey.
Did you hear the eruption of people? in that?
Right.
I was like, holy
Because of
cow.
Newt's notes,
Yeah.
I have been educated.
I thought you were gonna say because of Newt's notes.
I mean, it
Everyone
is because
knows.
of Newt's notes.
Yeah, it is. I'm the one that brought that one to prominence.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to think of honorable mention. I think we could throw Ray Rice in there.
Oh,
What are some football
if he
players?
gets the gorilla and
Whoa.
elevator.
Let's
Sean Oakman. I saw that.
Oh
one.
yeah, I saw. Yeah, who would win? 100 gorillas or one prime Sean Oakman?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
you could throw in there.
I was thinking
Jose
Um,
Canseco. Yep.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, OJ, but OJ wouldn't do anything. He just explained to you how he did it.
Yes.
I think
The-
Jose Canseco is a pretty good one.
See, this would be a great question of the day. We should have done this.
That's why I was praying.
Yeah, that I didn't use it. Yeah.
because-
So we got both of them in at the very least, but we do have a texter with his top 5.
oh, here we go.
Prime Mike Tyson,
Yep.
heavyweight John Jones,
Yep.
Ray Lewis,
Yep.
Deontay Wilder,
Mm?
and Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo.
That one right there takes the cake. Kimbo
That's a good one.
Slice,
No, I got one.
best bare knuckle, and also
Do
Bellator
we
UFC
even
guy.
need the other 95?
I
You
think-
won't need the other 99 when I tell you this one. Butterbean. Plug him in.
Chuck Norris,
Oh yeah. Chuck Norris.
1-on-1.
I don't know who else I could say for an honorable mention.
Vince McMahon.
If anybody
Chuck
else,
Liddell.
same texter says Sean Taylor too. Cam Chancellor,
Oh yeah.
get a hokey in there.
Draymond Green.
Mike Vick.
I think Draymond Green would just try to pick a fight and then leave.
Does Michael Vick come with an army of dogs,
Oh boy.
or is it just Michael Vick?
I don't know. Maybe there's some other honorable mentions. I really don't
There
know.
are plenty out there.
We are towing the line.
Yeah,
right
let's
now.
get out of here. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our real question of the day: what is a sporting event that you have to get to in your life? And again, we want some off the beaten path answers here. I don't want Super Bowl because that's an easy one. I don't want Final Four. What are some sporting events that unique that you have to get to, like the Kentucky Derby today? 615-737-1025. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll give our answers next. And don't forget Andrew Allegretta, voice of Vanderbilt baseball, joining us at 10:15. Hour number 2 coming up here on 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2 here on 4's Company. We are brought to you by LPL Financial Nashville and Patrick Conger. Wealth management advice for you no matter your current situation or stage in life. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, Jake Wallman, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Coming up, lots of SEC baseball talk in hour number 2. Andrew Allegretta, voice of Vanderbilt baseball, going to join us in just about 10 minutes on the show as Vandy gets set for game 2 against Alabama this afternoon. Won game 1 yesterday in 8 innings. Second Mercy Rule SEC win in a row for Vanderbilt. And we'll also check in on the Vols later on in the hour and see where both in-state schools are sitting with just a couple weeks left to go in the regular season. But first, let's answer our question of the day. What is a sporting event that you have to get to at some point in your life? Plenty of good options out there. I've said that you can go basic. You can go with some of the typical ones, but I want some off the beaten path answers. We've gotten some good ones on our text line. But let's start with our answers. Nick Frazier, what's a sporting event that you got to get to?
I don't know. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of sporting events I'd like to get to. One would be a World Cup match. I would like to see a nice soccer match for the international spectrum overall. Would love to see a Serie A match in Milan because that's my favorite team. Want to go to the San Siro because it's a very beautiful spectacle. Obviously a nice PDC darts championship to go to. That'd be pretty cool.
I knew he was going there.
I just
knew it.
The crowd makes that environment. They dress up like it's Halloween every single tournament.
It does look electric when you see the clips of the darts on Twitter.
If you hear a 180, they go 180. I'm like, oh yes, give it to me. Inject it in my veins. You hear the crowd erupt. That's awesome.
What does that mean?
It's 180 points on the board.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
Three
max.
triple 20s.
Yep, and it's the maximum. Just remember that, the maximum.
I missed the transition from darts or from soccer to darts.
That's
So
okay.
that's my bad.
I've already checked off the rugby league thing.
Yeah.
What else is out there that I'd like to get?
Would you like to get to a rugby game in Australia?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all.
You
That'd
just
be rugby
said you
match,
didn't want to
sorry.
go to Australia.
Well,
I told you. I asked you that yesterday.
if I could time travel or if I could, teleport, I'd be okay with that. I don't know if I can do
The
20
long flight.
That's 23
Yeah.
hours above water too. I don't know if I could.
What
do
if we
that.
fly you first class? Would you do it?
I mean,
What if we gave you a lot of sleeping pills?
Get you a nice bed.
oh my word.
What if we took a metal pipe to your head?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it depends. The one other spectacle I'd like to see, like in sports, would be something involving golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, something out there.
I feel like golf's going to be a popular answer.
Yeah.
That was two of the ones I was thinking of were golf. Obviously the Masters. I think that's a big answer. Connor,
Someone's
such a
snoring?
hater, Connor.
I'm playing golf on the 17th. I've never played before. Maybe this will be the start of the addiction.
I want to go to the waste management too. I think that would be obviously US Open would be a big one. And actually Matt from Camden on our text line says US Open at Pebble Beach. And I think that would be really cool. But the waste management in terms of just like a party around a golf tournament, I think that would be fun. And then, God, what was the other one? Oh, Omaha for a College World Series.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like that would be really fun to go
Oh,
to.
yeah.
And, maybe we see Vanderbilt, Tennessee there again this upcoming year. Who knows? But I feel like the atmosphere around Omaha for the College World Series is a really cool one.
Yeah.
Connor, you got one in mind?
I mean, I'm going to go WrestleMania. That's the dream right there. Ringside at WrestleMania is the dream. Omaha definitely comes to mind. If we want to go specific games, Penn State whiteout for me.
That would be cool.
Would be awesome. Virginia Tech would be awesome.
Enter Sandman.
Just to experience that. I would not care about the game. I just want to be there for the
You'd be like the sorority girls
Yeah.
going in for Enter Sandman and then leaving.
Yeah. Well, I may follow the sorority girls. Man, Field of Dreams game. I guess they don't really do that anymore.
I think it was a one-time thing, but I agree.
But that would be awesome.
The one at Bristol coming up this year, I feel like would be cool. 'Cause,
That'd be really cool.
Being at the battle at Bristol, were you there too, Jake Wallman?
I was.
Yeah, that was a really cool experience. I feel like a baseball game there would be cool too.
Getting in. I hope that security this year is much better because getting into the battle at Bristol
was
was
crazy.
a nightmare.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, I've never been to a Kentucky football game. That'll change this year.
Yeah, this year you're making your debut out there.
When I watch the under 500 Kentucky Wildcats take on the under 500 Tennessee Vols. It's going to be cinema. I mean, Final Four, of course.
Yeah.
But we're staying away from the basic ones.
We've got some great answers on our text line. We'll get to those in a second.
Oh, the hot dog eating contest.
Somebody on here said that too. Michael and Madison said the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Championship. That is a great one.
Yeah.
On 4th of July, that'd be awesome.
Cinema.
Heartburn City, baby.
I mean, just watching them inhale.
He's suspended now, but
Joey Chestnut.
In his prime, Joey Chestnut.
Elite. One of the greatest athletes of all
American
time.
hero.
Yes.
I mean, he's the most dominant athlete there's ever been.
Jake Wallman, you got any in mind?
Yes. So you mentioned the Masters. I'd like to go, which I would like to go to the Masters. I've never really brought myself to do the to apply.
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
I've got to make sure I apply again this year.
But I'd like to go to St. Andrews.
Yep,
for the
the
British
old
Open.
course. That
Yeah.
would be cool. I feel like there's a lot of golf ones that are just
Yeah.
there's so many amazing with a lot of history around these tournaments. So I'd like to do that.
St. Andrews is one. I've been to Talladega a couple times, and those two trips bring this in mind. The Nashville Grand Prix sounds kind of fun, where
Yeah.
you can just kind of post up on a rooftop bar
Right.
for the day.
See them roll around the streets.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd rather go watch the Memphis Showboats and the Houston Roughnecks, but
That's a
just
big one.
me.
Hey,
Yeah.
Where do they do the Snake Cup in the UFL?
DC United.
DC?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
DC Defenders.
Oh,
excuse me.
yeah. The DC Defenders. Yeah. That is
That'd be
the
pretty
beer
fun to
snake.
be a part of.
I
To
think
be a
I
part of
see
that.
Some of my friends
every
have done that
weekend on
before.
ESPN.
Yeah.
They also do that in at Cubs games in Chicago.
Yeah.
Which Wrigley Field I'd like
Wrigley
to go
Field would
We
be
don't
up
talk
there
about
too.
that place on this show.
to. And then I'd love to go to South Bend for a Notre Dame game.
Right.
Yes.
If we get to a little bit more mainstream stuff.
Yes. My dad did that when one of the times Tech played Notre Dame, and he said, despite how freezing it was, he said it was really cool. Couple of quick answers on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Devin and Dixon, he went motorsports as well. He wants to go to a major sprint car race at Eldora Speedway or Knoxville Speedway, the two most well-known dirt tracks in the country. Thought we might get more NASCAR answers on the text line, but that was really the only motorsports answer we got. One texter says the NCAA Equestrian Championship would be cool to be at for him.
Is that horse racing?
Yeah, he said it's more like rodeo. He said growing up
Oh.
around people investing in rodeos made him appreciate horses more. Ben said he'd like to play polo on a thoroughbred horse. 70 acres of grassland in Ireland.
Do you dabble in polo?
The shirts, sure.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I asked for off the beaten path answers, and we have gotten them.
I just thought of
Uh,
another one. The cornhole championships. that
Cornhole would
come
be
on
cool.
after
I mean,
hot
yeah.
dog eating.
I've
on
got a
4th of
big
July.
one that all of you will want.
What is that? What is that?
Olympic basketball.
Yeah, the Olympics, anything
general,
Olympics.
yeah.
Honestly, I'd say like Winter Olympic hockey would be
yeah.
awesome
Especially
to be at.
this year, or
Right.
this next Olympics. They're letting actual NHL players play
Yeah,
in the
like a
Olympics now.
U.S.-Canada Olympic game. Like
Oh.
the Four Nations face-off, you saw how intense that was.
It's gonna be
There were no
better.
gold medals on the line
It's
in
gonna
that
be
one.
better.
I'm excited for next year's Winter Olympics.
Matthew Tkachuk basically was recovering the second half of the season after that, essentially.
He's still recovering.
Yeah.
He's off and on now.
I will say, let me add on to whoever mentioned the horses and
Ben and an unnamed texter both were talking horses.
so rodeos. The PBR, professional bull riding.
Yeah,
I got to experience that.
yeah, that's
last
true.
year.
You got to see that.
Talk about appreciation. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That right there to sit
Is it as cool as the Nashville Cats?
honestly, to be 100% honest, it's cooler than regular football.
Okay,
I think so.
I'd like to see that.
should
Adam
go.
in Portland says Wimbledon. He said it's not really his material, but he wants to sit courtside, sip something fancy, and pretend he understands that lifestyle. I get that. And James says the beach volleyball NCAA championships.
Oh, wonder why.
So lots of great answers on our text line.
there
You
a
can
specific
continue to
reason for
text them in 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, Andrew Allegretta, the voice of Vanderbilt baseball, is going to join us and talk some Vandy boys ahead of Game 2 against Alabama today. That's up next. 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 4's Company, 1025, 1063, The Game, with you on your Saturday morning. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, Jake Wallman with you. And we are now thrilled to be joined on our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, by the voice of Vanderbilt baseball, Andrew Allegretta. Andrew, thanks for taking some time. Congrats on the win last night. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys? Jake, how are you? It's been too long.
I know it has. I'm thinking of stopping by later today, so maybe I will see you this afternoon.
You specifically.
You picked the one day that's likely to be a washout.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't make it. There's no game.
I promise I will make it over there at some point.
Okay.
We will.
Shots fired by Andrew.
I will be at
Allegretta.
Hawkins Field at some point before the end of the season.
Okay.
Big win last night, Andrew. And, a week ago, this team was coming off 3 straight losses and now has reeled off 3 straight wins, including 2 mercy rules in the SEC. How have you seen this team respond from that 3-game skid and get back on track over the last week?
You know, man, like I had this conversation with Coach Corp, and I asked him in one of the pregame conversations a couple of days ago. It's like it's baseball, and I'm not shrugging off the fact that they lost 3 consecutive games. They didn't play all that great versus MTSU, the first 2 versus Ole Miss. I get that, but in the context of baseball, if you lose 3 consecutive games out of 162, which is kind of the typical design of baseball, like nobody notices that. But because the schedule is so condensed and it's a difficult weekend versus Ole Miss, and it feels like the world every time you throw a pitch, it felt huge. But I think in the context of college baseball, if you can breathe through some of the struggles and not get too caught up in a couple of games, not to say that you want to lose a couple of games, not at all, but there's a randomness to baseball, and there's an ebb and a flow to baseball. It's going to take you high, it's going to take you low. And I think one of the things that this team has done fairly well throughout the course of the season has not been overwhelmed too much by the times that they hit a couple of lulls. Like we got swept at home versus Arkansas. Okay, well, Vandy has also swept Florida, has also swept A&M, has swept Georgia, took the first one versus Bama. So, some of it, I think, is just the mentality that Coach Corbin brings, the stability, the consistency, the ability to turn the page, to flush it in baseball parlance. And I think that's kind of what you have to do because, man, baseball is going to beat it out of you. Like you could mishit something by a fraction of a centimeter, and it's the difference between a home run and a ground ball. So I think they have handled the ups and downs in totality, Jake, rather than, a difficult week, but in the totality of the season, this group has handled, I think, some of the ebbs and flows pretty well.
Speaking of a difficult week coming up. You got a couple more games against the top 20 Alabama team, then at Louisville in a midweek, and then you head to Knoxville for a rivalry game with Tennessee. Does it feel like this is the week, if Vandy's going to solidify themselves as a top 8 seed in the tournament, that, hey, you got 6 games over the next 8 days. If you can win 4 of them, you got to feel pretty good about your standing when it comes to Selection Sunday.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the resume is so good as it is. And of course, that's got to continue. But you've got the number 3 RPI. You've got the number 3 strength and schedule. You've got, I think, 14 quad 1 victories. And then everything here on out for Vanderbilt is a top 30 RPI game. It's so hard to know. And I think one of the things that I've picked up in the past couple of years is like, golly, and just to come back to kind of what I was saying previously, that the league is so hard. It's so hard to know what your moments are that define you as a top 8 national seed. But there's no doubt, right, Jake? If Vandy wins this weekend versus Bama, wins next weekend versus Tennessee, you're not going to have a perfect record down the stretch. I mean, you want to play your best baseball in June, not the first weekend of May. But if they have success the next couple of weekends, whatever that translates into, however many wins that is, yeah, they're likely a top 8 national seed, just because the overall strength of the resume is pretty darn good.
Andrew Allegretta is with us here on 4's Company. Andrew, this team is a whole different team at home. They're 24-4. Obviously on the road, they're just 1 game above 500 at 8-7. What have you realized from the box as to this difference in the way the team plays at home and on the road?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I think everyone would like a top 8 national seed. If you have the ability to host potentially to Omaha, I think that's to the benefit of this team. I kind of think that everybody is built for their stadium, and everyone is built stylistically for what makes sense in the ballpark that you play at. Like, Ole Miss is built for Swayze Field, which can be a launching pad. Georgia is built for Foley Field, which can be a launching pad. And certainly Tennessee is built for Lindsey Nelson, which can be a launching pad. There's only a couple of fields in the SEC that kind of play straight up, and Hawkins Field is one of them. And that doesn't mean that, Vandy is this, throwback, old school, we're going to bunt and we're going to steal and we're going to pitch and I mean, they can hit the ball hard. Obviously, they've got some power hitters in there that as the season grows, like you would hope you continue to get more power out of Holcomb and Johnston, and RJ Austin hit his first home run in a while here today. So they've got some pop when they need it, but they're built for Hawkins Field. They've got great pitching. They play pretty good defense. Balls that are going to get out of other parks aren't going to get out of Hawkins Field. And we've got some pretty good defenders out there to go track them down. So I just, the way the team is built is certainly suited for the ballpark that we play in. And, that's not everything. Some of it's pitcher's comfort level. Like J.D. Thompson has 25 strikeouts in each of his past 2 home starts. There's a comfort level with the way that the mound feels. Like if you don't have to think about your landing foot and if it's going to slide or whatever it is, you're going to be a little bit more comfortable and you're going to execute a little bit better. So all of that stuff factors in. We would all prefer to be, in spaces that were comfortable, and Vandy is certainly comfortable at Hawkins Field this year.
Andrew, looking at the Crimson Tide, they have a superstar in Justin LeBron, projected top 5 MLB draft pick. He's batting, let's see, .315 with 15 home runs and 60 RBIs. How can Vanderbilt limit the damage he can do this weekend?
Well, strike him out, which is what they did yesterday. I think J.D. Thompson struck him out twice, and he didn't look comfortable at short yesterday, which was kind of surprising. There was a play that was a 50-50 E6 or a hit. They gave it a hit, and then a second later, he airmailed one to first base and did pick up an E6. So, what they have to do to limit him, Coach Corbin said he's a really good high ball pitcher. Okay, well, have really good breaking balls down and make him chase some. Limiting him means getting him to go 1 for 4 instead of 3 for 4. And they're off to a good start. Heck, I remember last year when Vandy played Florida, Vandy won the first 2 games. Jack Caglione hit home runs in each one of those. And then in the third game, Jack Caglione didn't hit a home run and 4-1. So you never know, but you're just trying to make sure that they don't take over a game. And certainly they got off to a good start with him yesterday with a couple of strikeouts and an E6.
Talking with Andrew Allegretta, voice of Vanderbilt baseball. Andrew, I wanted to highlight Connor Fennell a little bit because I remember seeing him in the, I think it was the Tennessee Tech game that I was over there for, where the first 4 innings took like 3 hours, and then Fennell comes out and just strikes out the side on like 12 pitches. And he's kind of developed from a guy who you saw in the midweek games to now he's your Sunday starter and coming off being named SEC Pitcher of the Week. How have you seen him develop in his first season with Vanderbilt since coming over from Dayton?
Yeah, just confidence, Jake. He's so much fun to watch. He pitches, I don't know, he pitches like an up-tempo football offense. Like he's going to throw the baseball the second that he can throw it, right? There's all of these rules with the action clock, and the pitchers have to wait for the hitters to make eye contact and yada, yada, yada. Fennell is ready to throw. Carter Holton was so fast for Vanderbilt. Fennell is faster, and Scott Brown, our pitching coach, loves it. He throws 88. He is 6'1". He is sub 200 pounds. He was not super recruited. He goes to Dayton the whole bit, but this kid has moxie off the charts. He's got just a wicked changeup that sits upper 70s, a fastball that's 88. He's got a funky delivery. He's got a slider that is kind of a de facto knuckleball. And what was it? Was it 12 strikeouts, I think, versus Ole Miss last weekend in the complete game shutouts? What a revelation he's been. He's been so much fun to watch, I think, just because of his toughness. He's willing to bark back and forth, within bounds. He's of all of the people, and there's been some really nice strides taken with some of the younger players. This kid coming from Dayton, which you didn't know what you had. He wasn't their biggest transfer. It was like, okay, they've got Connor Fennell. That's a good addition to the bullpen, however that's going to shake out. But he's proof he's got the toughness, the guts, and the willingness because, Corbin talks about this too. What's the difference between a great ball player and a player that's struggling? It's the confidence. and Fennell just brings confidence every single time. And he doesn't care. Like he gave up 2 home runs back-to-back to Texas A&M, one of them to Jace Laviolette, who could be the #1 overall draft pick in a couple of months, and he shook it off and came back and struck out 7 Aggies. Like his fearlessness and the willingness to take a punch and throw a counterpunch is huge.
Andrew, appreciate you taking some time today. Good luck the rest of the weekend. And if the rain holds off, I will see you this afternoon. So
Okay.
hopefully this weather starts to move out of here soon.
I'm optimistic. I think what I saw is that that potentially it's out of here kind of mid-afternoon, early afternoon-ish. So if all we have to do is bump first pitch back just a little bit, that would be great. And that means I get a little bit of Jake Kleiman in my life. And that's
Yes.
positive.
Get a little warm cup of coffee for him. He'll be there.
Is that all it takes?
I think so.
All I have to do is throw the scent of coffee in the press box and he'll wander up.
I mean,
somehow I made my way to West End. I just,
Who knows?
it pulled me there.
If you have him play Enter Sandman over the speakers, he'll flock over there too.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? For some reason, they're all jumping over here in the press box.
Andrew, thanks for your time and good luck. Hopefully we can get a couple of wins this weekend.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jake.
Andrew Allegretto, voice of Vanderbilt baseball. And again, you can listen in to Game 2 against Alabama later today. Currently scheduled 2:00 first pitch, 1:45 pregame right here on the Game. Hopefully that stays that way. But
there's
we'll
a
see.
lot of
Jake.
pressure on your shoulders.
Specifically you, Jake, not these other two, just you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure, man.
No, I
you
know.
got to show up.
I was already planning on it. I texted Andrew earlier this week that I was planning on coming this
That was
weekend.
twice. It started with, "How are you, Jake?" And then it ended with, "Thanks, Jake. We're here too."
I'm not offended by it.
I'm just messing with it.
You guys should get to know Andrew better.
Yeah. Well,
I'm all right with that.
I'll follow you to the washout today.
615-737-1025. We'll continue the conversation around SEC baseball coming up next. Talk some more Vandy, talk some Tennessee. Also know that the Game Nashville Sports Network is your home for NASCAR. Tomorrow, following the Nashville Sounds game, you can tune in to 94.9 The Fan for the Worth 400 NASCAR race. Coverage also available at the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. 4's Company rolls along after this here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Be sure to tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight as the Nashville Sounds take on Gwinnett. Pregame begins at 4:50. First pitch is at 5:05. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and theGameNashville.com. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan is presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, Jake Wallman with you, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Big thanks to Andrew Allegretta, voice of Vanderbilt baseball, for joining us in the last segment. Let's dive in a little further on SEC baseball. 3 more weekends to go, including this one in the regular season, before the SEC converges on Hoover, Alabama. And then just like that, we're into the NCAA tournament. Believe we're just over a month away from the College World Series. June 13th, 14th is right around where that starts. And it's looking like both teams in state have a good chance not only to host regionals, but maybe even be top 8 national seeds where you could host a super regional. Vanderbilt 13-9 in the SEC, 33-13 overall. Tennessee 13-8 in the conference, 36-9 this year. And a big showdown coming up next week at Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
It's going to be a good one.
Tennessee, I feel like that series, typically the home team usually has the edge. Because as Andrew said, teams are built for their stadium. Vanderbilt is more built for Hawkins Field, which is not even specifically a pitcher's park, but it's less of a hitter's park than the rest of the SEC. Lindsey Nelson, as we like to say, is a Cracker Jack box.
Yes, it is.
And you're going to see a lot of home runs. Tennessee is built for that. But I think there's a good chance that we see at least one, maybe even both of these teams as top 8 national seeds in the tournament. And maybe a chance we see both of them in Omaha coming up in June.
They're kind of on the same slide right now, too. They're kind of hitting the SEC struggle bus a little bit. You know, Tennessee just got beat 2 out of 3 by LSU and just got smoked in that last game. Vanderbilt ended their series against Ole Miss last week on a high note. I think they won 12-0, something like that. They run ruled them.
13-0.
Yes. But they both won their midweek games. Now they're on kind of the rise. I think they're playing good baseball at the right time. I think they're playing, next week it's going to be fun. But as this week, I think this is also a fun series because you kind of see Alabama's hitting go one-on-one with Vanderbilt's pitching, which is their 2 biggest strengths. Andrew just mentioned J.D. Thompson. That dude is throwing absolute gas right now.
Yeah, he got off to a little bit of a slower start this year. And I think it was surprising because of how great he finished last year. Mm-hmm. Everybody expected him to immediately jump in and be the guy. A little slow start, but he has been unbelievable the last couple of weeks.
What did he say? 25 strikeouts through his last 2 home games?
Crazy.
That's unreal. Nuts. That's like, what is that, 12.5 per game?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
You're just going up there and just having people fan at the plate. Like, that's essentially what you're doing. That's incredible.
And he throws hard too. Like, he throws.
But when you have
upper
a good
90s,
when you have a good mixture of pitches, though, that helps tremendously. That goes for any pitcher in baseball. Like, if you especially have good stuff in college, it's only going to help you going forward.
Oh yeah,
right. And it seems like Vandy has kind of evened out that weekend rotation. Cody Bowker going to go today. He's transition from the Sunday starter to the Saturday night. And we mentioned Connor Fennell, the Dayton transfer, who at the beginning of the year, I don't think you could have asked a Vanderbilt fan and been like, who is Connor Fennell? They probably would have been like, oh, I have no idea. He's a depth pitcher. And now he's probably one of the most important guys in your rotation. And he's been great. Again, was SEC pitcher of the week last week. So Vandy starting to hit their stride. But as Andrew said, you don't want to play your best baseball at the beginning of May. You want to be playing your best baseball towards the end of May and into June as you get towards the postseason.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, Jake, but obviously you're wearing the golden V. So I'm going to ask you the question, and Connor, please elaborate on this as well. In years past, we've seen Vanderbilt kind of adjust to the NIL era of things, and especially under Tim Corbin and him being a very, I guess, not plain Jane, but very traditional style coach.
Right.
That is. Do you think they've kind of figured out their pitching rotation when it comes to comparing teams like Vanderbilt in the past, where they've been able to always command the mound?
Yeah, I think Tim Corbin, unlike a lot of other, like you said, more traditional coaches who they've been in that spot for a long time. We've seen guys just up and quit. Tony Bennett at UVA.
Mhm.
Jay Wright has gotten out of coaching.
Nick Saban.
Like there are a lot of guys who said that they don't want to deal with it. Tim Corbin, instead of doing the Dabo Sweeney and putting his foot down and saying, this is how I've always done it and this is how I'm going to keep doing it, he's made the adjustment and he's gone into the portal and he's gotten some key guys for these teams. I think pitching is always going to be the identity of Vandy baseball. Now, they don't have Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker in this rotation, but I think they've found a good grouping to be your weekend starters. And then they've got guys at the back end of the bullpen who can not only close out games for you, but can go multiple innings in Sawyer Hawks and Miller Green. So I think, unlike maybe last year and the year before where there was a lot of injuries last year, I think Vandy has deep pitching, which is what you need when you get into the postseason, where you might have to play 4 games in 3 days. And you got to have enough pitching to get through that. And a lot of teams don't. I think Vandy might be one of the few teams that does have enough depth in that rotation and in the bullpen to get through a regional, or once they get to Omaha, maybe have a chance to make a run.
He's right. I mean, you look at examples of coaches that have been the old style of college recruiting and stuff like that, that have adapted to NIL. I put Tim Corbin near the top of that list. He's a prime example of greatness can adapt. Tim Corbin's a great coach. He's got a great team this year. I think the pitching staff, granted, like you said, there's no Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter out there. There's still a great staff. And I think that's what they kind of harp on to be Vanderbilt. And, it's worked well for them. They're competing for a national 8 seat. So
It's a collective.
yeah, it's a team effort. There's no individual guys. That's how any team should be run.
Right. And you're seeing some of the younger guys for Vandy start to step up. Brody Johnston, big-time freshman. He's been great. Rustin Rigdon, another freshman. Braden Holcomb, a sophomore who stepped up. And you've seen some of these transfers that they brought in. Like we just mentioned, Tim Corbin hasn't gone away from the transfer portal. He brought in Mike Mancini from James Madison, who he kind of went viral in the tournament last year for hitting, I think it was 3 home runs in one game. The famous call from the announcer of his favorite color is green trees. I don't know if you saw that one.
God. Stop.
But Mike Mancini's that's a big time player that they brought in, who I think a lot of SEC programs would have liked to have on their team. And he hasn't been their best player, but he's a guy who immediately can be a key part of that lineup. So I think Vandy's in a good spot. Tennessee, it's tough to repeat. Right? Like they're coming off a national championship.
Especially with how young their team is.
Right. They did lose a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christian Moore was the 8th overall pick in the draft. And he wasn't the only key piece of that lineup who's not with the team anymore. So I think Tennessee, baseball is just so different from other sports where not only do you have to be really good, you got to get a little bit lucky to make a run. And I'm not saying Tennessee doesn't have it in them, but lightning rarely strikes twice. Like I'm trying to think of, I guess you look back at Vandy's runs in, they won in 14 over Virginia and then lost to Virginia in 15. So it's like you got the same teams in the championship back-to-back years. But it's just so rare. Tennessee, think of all the things that went their way last year. The check swing against Florida State. It's like you need all of those breaks to go your way to win a national championship in this sport. Not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying that
it's going to be harder.
It's going to be tough. And we'll see. I think next weekend's going to be a blast in Knoxville.
I really think they split headed into Sunday. We have ourselves a rubber match,
which would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
And I was listening to George Plaster yesterday. They had blanking on his name from D1 Baseball. One of the main contributors over at D1 Baseball was talking about there's a chance maybe Tennessee Vanderbilt Super Regional, like they're in that range where one could be really 7, fun. One could be 10, one could be 8, one could be 9. Like it has to line up, and both teams have to win their regional to get there. But man, a best of 3 series between Tennessee and Vanderbilt with a spot in Omaha on the line.
That would be so much fun.
I mean,
especially for us to talk about.
Right. I mean, you can't write it any better than that. Yeah. So obviously that's still a while away for us to get to that point. We've still got 3 more regular season series. We've got Hoover, but I don't know if we got to that point. I think the state of Tennessee, even though maybe college baseball, isn't the biggest topic on the docket around Tennessee sports. If Tennessee and Vanderbilt were playing in a 3-game set for a spot in the College World Series, I think that would be all anybody talked about the entire week.
That's the peak of college baseball in the state of Tennessee. I mean, that easily. I mean, I'm over here looking at some of the SEC stats, just going through all the teams here. I mean, you look at a team like Tennessee, who has the highest slugging percentage in the SEC, and you go up against a team like Vanderbilt, who has I would say a very good pitching staff, like we talked about just a bit ago. So like you guys are saying, a rubber match. It could be also a hitting fest. I mean, Vandy is obviously one of the teams on the lower side of average of a batting average at 273. But besides that, I mean, these teams are, like you're saying, pretty even to the point where you can't really pick one side or the other.
Yeah, Vandy 15th in the country, Tennessee 12th in the latest ranking. So they're right there. Next weekend's going to be fun in Knoxville. But Vandy still has 2 more games in their series at home this weekend against Alabama. And again, currently scheduled 2 p.m. first pitch over at Hawkins Field, 1:45 pregame right here on 102.5 The Game. One more segment to go on the show. We're going to make some picks, including our annual Kentucky Derby picks.
Yes.
Coming up next here
Let's
on
do it.
4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Wrapping up the show on this Saturday, 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, Jake Wallman. Been a fun one. It's time to make some picks on this Saturday. We're going to make our Kentucky Derby picks, but let's start with
It's the main event.
the Game 7s. We got 2 Game 7s today, one in the NBA, one in the NHL. The constant between the two is Denver has a team in both games. The Denver Nuggets, LA Clippers in the NBA, Game 7. And Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars in Game 7. Who do we got? Nick Frazier. Why don't you start us up?
Oh, I'm going to go NHL. I say the Dallas Stars get it done.
You got the Stars?
Yeah.
I believe Stars are at home. Nuggets are at home.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go Stars. And then for basketball, I'll go the Nuggets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going one of the Denver teams.
Yeah.
Connor Newt?
I'll go both Denver teams.
You're going Nugs and Avs.
Nugs and Avs. And Nugs simply because they have more Kentucky players than the Clippers.
That's fair.
I'm going to go Clippers. Kawhi Leonard is one of those players where if he really cared and had like the mentality of a LeBron James, I feel like he could be one of the greatest players of the generation. We saw in when he was with the Raptors, he was going into a contract year and had to prove himself, and he went and won the NBA Finals. I think Kawhi Leonard's going to step up, and I think he sends the Joker home. Clippers win that one. I will go Avalanche in Game 7 in Dallas. I think Nate McKinnon, you got the best player on the ice. I'll go with the Avs. Jake Wallman?
So we're picking both of these.
Yeah,
at the same
pick
time?
both,
Okay.
both
all
of
right.
them.
The NBA, I'd rather watch paint dry. But I think I'm going to go with the Clippers. Just I don't know.
So we're split. 2 on the Clippers, 2 on
And
the Nuggets.
then the NHL Game 7, that's one I might actually watch later today. Colorado Avalanche are pretty good. They've gotten really good over the last few years. I guess give me the Avs.
All right.
Lone wolf in it. Love it.
Yeah, only 1 on the Stars here.
What would you rather watch? Paint dry or the Atlanta Braves?
The
Quick
Braves.
rapid fire.
The Braves.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
Did the Braves win last night?
They didn't, but they got rained out. So
Gotcha. Okay.
No hit through 6.
Oh yeah, Yamamoto was on the mound. I forgot about that. Yeah. They've done a nice job coming back from an 0-7 start. We got to give it to them.
you asked me to cheer for the Braves, Frazier. I'm doing my part over here.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, time to pick the Derby. It is Derby Day. Who do we got? Actually, I'm going first. At Churchill Downs, because I don't want anyone stealing my pick. I got it right last time with Mystic Dan.
He did.
So I'm gonna go
he is
first
the
again.
defending
I'm the
champ.
defending champ. And where else could I go but Sandman? Sandman is the pick. In honor of Metallica playing over at Nissan Stadium this evening.
Let's go.
Sandman is going to be the winner of the Kentucky Derby.
What are the odds of that happening?
I know.
I
As
mean-
soon as I saw it, I knew who I was picking. And that's why I had to go
the
first.
odds are actually 6-1.
Wow.
So there you
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Nick Frazier, who is your horse?
Oh, this is tough. There are a few of them that have come to mind looking at this list. One of them was journalism.
go. Don't you?
The other one was American Promise. And the third one I was looking at, I don't know, maybe I'll try to get one that has a good odds. Maybe the Luxor Cafe. You know what? Lucky number 7. Let's do it. Luxor Cafe. Let's do it. I
All
love
right.
coffee. Cafe, baby. Let's
I'm on
do it.
Sandman. Nick Frazier on Luxor Cafe. Connor Newt.
I'm between 2, and I think they're the 2 funniest, but I'll go with the funnier one. Give me Chunk of Gold.
Chunk of Gold.
to win the
Number
Kentucky
19.
Derby
28-1.
in honor of what I did this morning about 5 minutes before the show. Give me Chunk of Gold.
Chunk of Gold. All right. So I have Sandman, Luxor Cafe for Frazier, Chunk of Gold for Connor Newt. Jake Wallman. Who is your horse?
So I'm between 2 as well. I really like the name Citizen Bull. I think that I don't know what it is about that name that really stands out to me, but I'm going to go with the favorite. I'm going to go with journalism.
Journalism. Yeah, Citizen Bull. That's Bob Baffert's horse, returning from his 3-year suspension as a trainer, because I think he there were some performance enhancers or something
Really?
a couple years ago.
He was drugging his horses?
I think the they won and he was disqualified or something, right? Like
Yeah,
3 years
I do
ago. That
recall
sounds
that.
right. Yeah. So Bob Baffert has returned, the legendary trainer. I believe he's won the Triple Crown before. Sometime it was an American Pharaoh. I think that was his
Yeah.
horse.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
should be fun. When is that? It's what, like 2:30?
Yeah, something like that.
But
Now-
I heard there might be rain there too, so maybe a chance it gets pushed back.
Today's
that makes
weather.
that makes a great race.
Today's weather reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where Kramer is at the betting office. They all take trains to go to different, like Elaine takes a train to go to a wedding, and Jerry's going to Coney Island. And on the train, Kramer hears a conversation where they're talking about a horse, and they're like, his mother was a mutter, his father was a mutter. And he goes and he ends up betting on the horse, and he wins a ton of money, and he almost gets mugged on the way back.
Yeah. And I think that led to another episode where they met a guy from Texas and they were in like the airport. And they started like betting
yes.
when this airline would take off and then another one take off. And
They're in like
it's-
some
love it.
club or something like
Yeah.
that.
yeah, it's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
I need to watch Seinfeld.
You'd love it.
I've never watched it all the way through, but
I've seen
I've seen a
episodes.
lot of episodes. But maybe I should. Maybe I should.
Just a little Kentucky Derby news I told you guys in the break. All these are descendants of Secretariat.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Over
Um,
under amount of Wildcats we see from the Kentucky Derby.
I will put the line
I
at
can already tell you one that's going to be there
7.5.
because you know he will.
Will Levis.
7.5.
Mark
is
Pope's
my-
going to be
Levin-
there.
well,
He's going to be there.
Will Levis posted on his story that he was there yesterday. So
Oh, well, he's
um,
there.
How about we go?
Mark
It's in
Pope will be-
Kentucky. Let's go 12.5. 12.5 for the line.
I'd go over.
Mark Pope will be there in that same old
Mark
Letterman
Stoops.
jacket. He's motivated. Don't piss him off.
That'll do it for us today.
He might eat the
Fun
horse.
show. Plenty coming up here on the Game Nashville Sports Network, including Vanderbilt baseball later today. It is a 2:00 first pitch against Alabama. Enjoy Derby Day as well. Should be a fun one. We'll be back with you next week. For Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, Jake Wellman, I'm Jake Lyman. Enjoy your weekend. ESPN Radio coming up next.
See ya.